The mountain had a way of swallowing sound, as if it did not trust the world with its secrets. Wind slid through the pine trees like a tired breath, carrying the scent of wet soil, old bark, and something unspoken. Even in spring, shadows held onto snow as if afraid to let go. At the far edge of the valley, where the road thinned into memory and neighbors no longer existed, a weather-beaten cabin stood alone. Its walls leaned slightly, its roof bore scars from too many winters, and its porch groaned under the weight of years. Inside that cabin lived 6 lives shaped by loss, anger, and the quiet ache of things unfinished. Ethan Cole woke before dawn every day, not because he wanted to, but because sleep had learned to avoid him. He rose quietly, pulling on worn boots and a jacket that had belonged to a better version of himself. The air outside bit at his skin, sharp and honest. He liked that. Pain that made sense. He split wood with steady force, each swing of the axe measured and precise, as if the rhythm kept his thoughts from drifting backward. Every crack of wood echoed through the valley, a reminder that something could still be broken cleanly instead of burning. Behind him, the cabin came alive in uneven bursts. A door slammed. A chair scraped. A voice rose too quickly, another answered too sharply. Ethan did not turn right away. He knew the sound of his sons like he knew his own heartbeat. 5 boys, all different, all carrying the same invisible weight. When he finally turned, they were already spread across the porch and yard, braced for whatever came next. Liam stood rigid, too young to be this hard. Jonah wiped blood from his mouth with the back of his hand, refusing to cry. Caleb hovered between them, anxious and alert. Miles kicked dirt, pretending nothing mattered. Noah stayed near the doorway, clutching his wooden horse like a lifeline. Ethan looked at them and felt the familiar surge of guilt, followed by the practiced numbness. He asked what happened. He separated them with a few clipped words. He sent them inside for breakfast. He did not hug them. He did not kneel to meet their eyes. He did not tell them he understood. Love for Ethan had become something dangerous, something that burned houses down and left smoke in its place. There was a time when the cabin had felt different, when laughter filled its corners and light seemed to linger longer. Ethan remembered those days the way one remembers dreams after waking, soft, blurred, painful. His wife had been the warmth in that home. She had known how to touch a shoulder and calm a storm, how to sing badly and make it charming, how to remind the boys that the world was big but not cruel. The fire took her in minutes. The aftermath took everything else slowly. After the fire, people came. They meant well. They brought food and sympathy and rules. Women tried to help, tried to stay. None lasted. The boys tested them relentlessly, desperate to confirm what they already believed. That everyone left eventually. Ethan did nothing to stop it. Somewhere deep inside, he believed he deserved the silence that followed. When the world finally stopped trying, Ethan moved his family higher into the mountains. Fewer roads, fewer questions, less hope to lose. The girl arrived without warning, like a pause in a song that made everyone listen more closely. It was a quiet rain, the kind that soaked through clothes without announcing itself. Ethan was fixing a fence when he noticed her standing near the tree line. She did not call out. She did not wave. She just stood there, small and still, like she had been placed rather than arrived. Her yellow coat was too big, her shoes muddy, her hair unevenly braided. She hugged a worn, stuffed rabbit to her chest as if it knew, something the world didn't. Ethan approached cautiously, his instincts unsure whether to protect or retreat. He asked if she was lost. She told him her name was Lily and that someone had said he would help. She said it without fear, without expectation. When he asked about her parents, she answered simply that she did not have any. There was no drama in her voice, just truth. The boys noticed her before Ethan knew what to do. The house filled with noise and disbelief. A girl did not belong here. Girls left. Girls cried. Girls changed things. Lily stood in the center of the room, rain dripping onto the floor, and smiled shyly as if hoping kindness might be contagious. The boys stared at her like she was a strange animal that might bolt if startled. Ethan said she would stay for a bit. Liam protested immediately, his voice sharp with old experience. Lily's smile faltered just slightly. Ethan corrected himself, his voice harder than he meant it to be, telling them she was not replacing anyone, that she only needed rest. Lily promised she was quiet. That promise broke something in Ethan's chest. That night, Lily cried softly on the couch. Ethan heard it through the walls and sat up, heart pounding. He found her curled into herself, clutching the rabbit. She apologized for the sound. She said she tried not to. Ethan wrapped her in a blanket without knowing why. Told her she was safe tonight. The words surprised him as much as they comforted her. Lily did not change the house overnight. She changed it slowly, the way water reshapes stone. She watched more than she spoke. She listened when the boys talked, even when they were angry or confusing or repetitive. She learned their habits, their moods, their quiet signals. She never demanded attention. She simply offered presence. Noah gravitated toward her immediately. He followed her like a shadow, trusting her in a way he had not trusted anyone since the fire. When storms came, she held him without asking permission. When he woke from nightmares, she sat beside him until his breathing steadied. Ethan noticed these things and pretended not to. Miles showed her frogs and feathers, and rocks that looked like faces. She reacted with wonder every time, as if the world was still capable of surprise. Caleb read aloud to her, stumbling through words but growing stronger with each sentence. Jonah tested her kindness with sharp comments, then watched carefully when she didn't flinch. Liam kept his distance the longest, watching from corners, guarding his heart with practiced precision. One afternoon, Liam snapped at her, asking why she was still there. Lily answered honestly, telling him she believed they needed her. When he said they didn't need anyone, she looked at him gently and said his eyes said otherwise. Liam walked away, furious at the sting of recognition. Ethan observed everything from the edges, his heart torn between gratitude and fear. Lily reminded him too much of what he had lost and too much of what he still wanted. Some nights after everyone slept, he sat by the fire and let himself remember his wife's laughter, the way she used to braid hair, the way she believed love could be rebuilt. Lily's presence made those memories hurt and heal at the same time. When the social worker returned, the cabin filled with tension. Lily stood still, hands clenched. The boys erupted in protest. Ethan felt panic like he hadn't since the fire. That night, Lily asked if she was leaving. Ethan told her he didn't know. She thanked him anyway. For fixing them, he corrected her gently, telling her they fixed themselves. She smiled and told him he helped too. That night, Ethan prayed for courage. Not for certainty, not for guarantees, just courage. The process was long and painful. Ethan spoke truths he had avoided for years. He admitted his failures, his grief, his anger. He did not pretend to be strong. For the first time, he let someone see the man behind the silence. When Lily was allowed to stay, the boys did not celebrate loudly. They gathered around her quietly, as if joy might break if handled too roughly. Time passed. Seasons changed. The boys grew taller, stronger, kinder. Lily grew into herself, confident and warm, carrying the family with her gentle steadiness. The cabin filled with life again, not perfect, not painless, but real. Ethan stood on the porch one evening, watching them laugh together, and realized something that made his chest tighten. He was no longer living among ruins. He was living in a home. The pain had not disappeared. It never would. But love had learned to live beside it, shaping something new from the broken pieces. And it all began the day a little girl in a yellow coat walked out of the rain and taught 6 lost souls how to belong to one another again.